was accomplished in your bye week?
Well, I think bye week was a big focus early in the week for us as coaches on self-scouting and what we've done well, what we haven't done well. I think you try to grab the good and you fix the fixable, and what do we throw out? What do we keep doing? What do we got to get better at? That's kind of the focus internally. And then practice was just getting back to basics and fundamentals and running the ball better and trying to protect the quarterback better and doing things that we do better. And I think that's the biggest thing is you have a refocus, and you always focus on yourself, and then you start to look at the opponent a little bit more at the end of the week to grab a couple extra days. And I think that was accomplished last week. I thought our guys had a good week of practice. I mean, it was pretty physical for 3 days, and I think they responded in the right way. Now we need to go out and play well Saturday morning.
I know better than to ask you what was the good and bad and what got thrown out. You're not gonna...
Well, bad. We haven't been very good on third downs, and captain obvious. The games that we haven't been good on third down is the games that we've spent longer or more reps in third and long, 7+, which has a low percentage probability. We actually have been pretty good in third and long. If you want to go by percentages, like 24% and 29% in those two categories, we're seeing them too much. You're in it too much, which leads back to, whether it's a TFL on a 1st and 10 call and you're playing behind the chains. And so I think that was magnified more than any in the Arizona game, is just playing behind the chains and not playing as well on 1st and 2nd down. So, no.
Some people might, point to the quarterback or offensive line or running backs. Has this kind of been a system-wide failure?
Yeah. Anytime you don't win, it's and when I say win, it's we've lost 3 one-score games. We don't come out on top of it. And we've detailed it in here and at other times, I know Coach has, what of the few plays that have highlighted those losses and that could have won them at the end of a game. But anytime you do that, you lose 3 one-score games, it starts with the play calls. It is every position and every coach, and you own it. And every one of us have to be better, whether it's me choosing play calls that our guys do better or against the scheme, and flat out executing slide protection and gap protection and zone schemes and counter schemes, and from the quarterback to making some better throws, and some of it's fundamental and some of it was drops, and we all own it. We all have a hand in owning it.
How much can a healthy Dylan Edwards help the running game?
Anytime you have a starter back, tremendously. I mean, that's our starting running back, and we haven't had him for 4 games, 3 3/4. But yeah, he'll absolutely help the passing game. He'll help in the running game, and when you run it better, it opens up a lot more RPOs and opens up more shots downfield.
Is having him, they've been keying on Avery in the option part of the offense, and they should. But now having him back, it's a much bigger threat.
I think it's a threat in all the read game. It's a threat in the RPO game. Yeah, absolutely. He's a weapon, and he'll make our O-line better too.
Jason Brown has been quite effective on gadget plays this season. Why do you think that's been?
Well, if you can scheme it to where he's out in the field and in the middle of the field and opening up, he's fast. He's really fast, and I think at times that when those have presented themselves, our guys have done a really good job blocking for him, and those things have been set up, and he takes advantage, uses his natural ability.
Are there any guys who we haven't heard a ton about that took advantage of the bye week and might see some more run going forward?
I don't know of how his reps will play out on game day, but Dylan Villarreal had a really good week last week. He is progressing as a young O-lineman. And again, don't read into that. I don't know what his game reps will look like exactly, or if he'll start getting in the game a little bit. He's had a good week. I think I would probably say I thought I saw some improvement. I'm thinking of younger guys maybe. Gus Hawkins had a good week. Lincoln's playing more, and he's healthier and better. I think all those running backs, again, with extended time and reps, that's always good for those guys. those would be probably the first guys I think of, because I always think of younger guys.
What's happened to first possessions, whether it's the start of the game or the second half?
Let me think of them. You got any particular?
A lot of the first possessions haven't moved them in 3 and outs and those type of things. There's only 4 games, of course, but yeah. Is there any common thread?
There hasn't been. I know I can think of a drop. I can think of an overthrow. I can think of a pressure. No, that's a fair question. Good question. There hasn't been a common thread. We absolutely need to start faster, and it's not just the first series; it's the first quarter. It's the first couple series and of the third quarter as well. You know, I think the third quarter in a couple games. You know, I remember Army was a post and then 3 and out, so a 4-play. I think we started. Well, I mean, it was 1 and done at Arizona. That was a good play. That was the Jace play. Yeah. So I mean,
just execution.
Yeah.
Anything else you can say about Lincoln?
Lincoln?
Yeah.
You know, he's a talented kid that, you know, I think when he got here this summer, I wish he'd have been here in January, but when he got here this summer, the guy worked extremely hard in the spring of learning, you know, just playbook and terminology to get here in the summer and jump right in. And then unfortunately got hurt, you know, right there at the beginning of training camp after just a handful of practices. I don't remember exactly how many, but not very many. And then he was out for a month. So a long time, and that's a developmental. I mean, he didn't have spring ball, so a developmental. And so credit to him for just the last 3 or 4 weeks of getting back on the field and learning everything that we do with those tight ends. And, you know, he played, I think, 13 snaps-ish, something like that. Friday night, I see that in his future, if not increased. But he's got a role, catches the ball really well. And he's, you know, I think he's learning how to block. He's just a true freshman out there blocking. Didn't do that much out in Goodland.
With that said, is his future as a tight end or a receiver? At least immediate future. You got a good tight end here already.
Just playing. You know, we flexed him out, but there's a lot of things that you can do with him, from inline to flexing out and free releasing him, and he's getting better blocking. So I think his versatility gives us options.
Chris said he wanted you and Joe to stick around last week just so we could talk strategy,
hang out,
schematics. Yeah, hang out at his house, whatever.
No, we did not do that.
Curious, how much time did you guys spend talking ball as a group?
All week, all the way. I left the building at 3:00 on Friday to head to a high school game out of state, and so early that morning all the way to 3, but Monday through 3:00 on Friday we did. So all week.
How often are you seeing Avery keep plays alive to where you would like to see him run when he's maybe looking to push the ball down?
I love it when he runs, and everybody else does too. So, you know, everybody likes big completions, and there's a fine line between balancing that up of man just cutting it loose and running every time versus I'm out of the pocket in a controlled scramble with my eyes up. And, yeah, I mean, I think his legs are a weapon. He needs to use those and be aggressive in using that.
Anything else?
This might not be the right way to say it. Is he overthinking that, or he's just not decisive enough? I've got to go.
No, I think at times there may be both. Yeah, I don't think you don't want him overthinking, but you don't want him out there just playing like a wild man either and going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, set, step, and I'm out of the pocket. And when I'm out of the back of the pocket, everything looks all cool and hair's flowing and I'm hauling butt out. Well, try being that right tackle or that left tackle blocking the guy and your quarterback's out behind you, and that's where holding calls happen. I don't want him playing like that. We want to scramble up in the pocket. But I don't want him overthinking anything either or being a statue in the pocket. None of us do. The kid's a dual threat, and so you want him to play within within a progression and within his timeline in his head or his clock in his head. But keeping eyes up on scramble and keeping throws alive, but knowing when you're close to that line of scrimmage and being aggressive and going to put pressure on those linebackers and overhang safeties that are trying to contain him in there too.